Hi everyone, this is Luciana. As I mentioned in a previous post, we are adding to our mission. We're still supporting shelters and rescues in the US, but we're also adding a couple shelters that are located in Indonesia into our partnership. The shelters that we partner with in Indonesia are shelters that save dogs from the illegal dog meat trade that still happens in some parts of Indonesia. Now, there's a handful of other countries that still have dog meat trade operations, but we're starting with Indonesia because Indonesia is where I was born. So it's my way of giving back to my origin home country. I'd like to introduce you to one of our Indonesian partner shelters in this video, but before we go there, I'd like to explain the shelter system in Indonesia because it is a little bit different from the shelter system in the US. In the US, there are municipal shelters and then there are no-kill shelters that are like ASPCAs, humane societies, and then there are rescue organizations. In Indonesia, there's no such thing as municipal shelters. There are only no-kill shelters that are equivalent to ASPCAs and humane societies. In the US, there are grant opportunities that no-kill shelters can apply for. In Indonesia, there's no such thing. There's no grant from government or private foundation. There's no subsidy from the government. And so these shelters in Indonesia rely fully on donations from the public. Also, the shelters in Indonesia are all no-kill shelters. Any abandoned or stray dog in Indonesia is at high risk of being caught by dog meat traders, brought into a dog slaughterhouse, and then sold to food stalls and restaurants that are willing to sell dog meat on their menu. So the animal shelters in Indonesia always try to get to the abandoned or stray dogs as soon as possible. Now, as I mentioned, I'd like to introduce one of our Indonesian shelter partners in this video. Their name is Sahabat Setia Satwa, which in English actually translates into loyal friend of the animals. But we're going to call them the 3S shelter. That is what they're known as in Indonesia as well. Now, the 3S shelter mission is to end illegal dog meat trade. They are a small team, a small shelter that is based in the city of Semarang. They partner with the local police department in the city of Semarang to shut down local food stalls and restaurants that sell dog meat. And they also rescue some of the dogs from those food stalls and restaurants. But because they're still small, they can only rescue a few dogs. The 3S shelter also collaborates with other local shelters so more dogs can be saved. So they need help and more support so that they can grow bigger, so that they can save more dogs from these illegal dog meat trade and shut down more food stalls and restaurants that sell dog meat in Indonesia. The 3S shelter team not only calls the cops on these food stalls and restaurants so the cops can start investigating and the team help the cops in any way that they can. The 3S shelter team also tries to save the dogs before they get into the slaughterhouse and the live dogs that they see in the food stalls and restaurants that sell dog meat. Now, I have donated my own money to this shelter and I'm constantly in touch with them. So I can speak to the transparency of their operation, especially when it comes to donations. I know just how they operate. I know how they allocate their donations. They've also been, like I said, they've also been very transparent with me as one of their donors about what they do with the donation, when they're going to do it. And they also send me updates about the dogs. And so in the coming weeks, I'm going to share with you updates or information about the dogs that they have saved, that they are currently taking care of in their shelters. And I'm hoping that some of you will be inspired to donate to them through us, through my organization. My organization is a 501c3 in the US, which means that if you donate through my organization, your donation would be tax deductible on your income tax for that year. They need our help in order to continue to provide quality care to their dogs and in order for them to be able to save more dogs. $1 goes a long way in the local currency in Indonesia. So I hope that you'll join me in sponsoring and supporting this shelter, the 3S shelter, and to the 3S Shelter. Welcome to our partnership, and stay tuned for more updates about the dogs at 3S Shelter.
In the dark of night, the stars light up the sky. We think I'm flying free. That's just like you and me.
Ada dagingnya di sini. Ada. Yang mana? Yang mana? Ini, coba sampelnya mana? Ada pilih nggak? Coba. Jadi daging anjing masih dijual di sini.
Apa? Dari Tembalang itu Pak.
Dari Tembalang, namanya siapa?
Mas Aldi.
Mas Aldi.
Iya.
Saya bisa minta nomor teleponnya.
Mas Aldi.
Buat barang. Ya, taruh.